Welcome to the overview of Project Management SEC course. The title of this lecture is Time Management. In this lecture, we tackled the following topics: Project Time Management Processes, Project Scheduling, the importance of Project Schedule, the Project Scheduling Process, Rules of Time Management. Now let's start with Project Time Management Processes. Project Time Management. Project time management is an act of exercising or planning the conscious control on the time spent on specific tasks or activities. Time management increases the effectiveness, efficiency, or productivity of a person, organization, or a project. Time management in project management includes the processes required to manage the timely completion of a project. There are 6 steps that are involved in project time management. 1. Activity definition. A project team should identify and schedule different activities and tasks to be done during the project life cycle. These are the things that are required for timely project deliverables. 2. Activity sequencing. In this step, project managers need to introduce documents and map task dependencies. They define the order in which deliverables must be completed. 3. Estimating resources. Identifying and defining the resources including people, materials, and machines required for completing a deliverable. 4. Activity duration estimating. Estimating the timeline using formulas such as PERT, Program Evaluation Review Technique, to develop an exact schedule for completion of durables. 5. Project schedule development. Plotting the start and end dates for each activity as well as the analysis of the order of activities, timelines, resources, and schedule barriers to have an accurate schedule. 6. Schedule control. Project management intervention so that it is manageable when there is a need to change the product schedule. Now we move to project scheduling. Project scheduling. A project schedule contains more than your average weekly planner notes. Project scheduling involves creating a document, these days usually a digital document, that details the project timeline and the organizational resources required to task. A project schedule must be accessible to every team member. Its purpose is to communicate critical information to the team, so it must be comprehensive and easy to understand. Difference between project scheduling and project planning. Quite often, these two terms are used interchangeably, but they have different roles in the successful completion of a project. On a higher level, a project plan is the master blueprint, while a project schedule details specific tasks. Planning primarily involves selecting appropriate policies, methodologies, and procedures required to deliver a project on time. Scheduling, on the other hand, converts the plans, scope, and cost into an operational timeline. Now we move to the importance of project schedule. The importance of project schedule. Project scheduling is important since it plays a major role in project success. The following are some of its advantages. Project scheduling, when done well, makes an entire project run more smoothly. Committing to the project scheduling process at the beginning of a project will give a clear picture of the requirements set before a team. It also gives you a chance to detect issues early and alert clients if a timeline isn't feasible. In addition to being good for a project manager, project scheduling is good for an entire team. Everyone knows what to expect and when. Everyone is held accountable for the same due dates. Other managers can allocate resources efficiently for a project, and they will be able to anticipate when resources will be available for other projects. Now we move to the project scheduling process. The project scheduling process. The project scheduling process can be broken down into 8 manageable steps. 1. Plan schedule management. A plan for schedule management outlines resources available for a project and the contingencies that may arise. It also lists project stakeholders, itemizes individuals who must approve the schedule, and lists others who need to receive a copy. 2. Define project activities. In the case of complex projects, it may be helpful to organize these tasks in the form of a chart visualizing tasks and their subtasks and to stay organized at work. Activities should also be measurable, easily estimated, and related to both a project deliverable and a budgeted cost. 3. Determine dependencies. Once you have all project activities listed, think through each one carefully to identify which tasks rely on others to be completed. If you're building a house, for example, you can't put the roof on until the frame is completed. It's important to correctly define all your dependencies so you can schedule accurately and avoid project delays. 4. Sequence activities. After you've established project dependencies among your activities, you can sequence them. At this point, you aren't assigning any time to your activities in terms of work hours or due dates. Instead, you're focusing on the order in which all project activities should be done so that the most efficient flow is created. 5. Estimate resources. Each activity in a project will require resources in the form of personnel, subcontractor costs, tools, physical and/or digital tools like software programs, and a workspace. 6. Estimate durations. This step is pretty obvious but very important. How long will each project activity take? Underestimating will, of course, put you behind schedule and ultimately frustrate your customer. Overestimating could leave team members or other resources sitting idle as they wait for antecedent tasks to be completed. The best way to estimate duration is to use data from similar previous jobs. 7. Develop the project schedule. At this point, you should have all the information you need to develop your project schedule, taking into consideration the duration and resource requirements of each activity, as well as their dependencies and proper sequence. You can assign dates and due dates for each activity. There are multiple models and formulas for developing a project schedule, including critical path, critical chain, and resource leveling, and others. 8. Monitor and control. This step involves running reports and assessing the progress of a project against a schedule, managing performance, and communicating with the team. When schedule changes must be made, you ensure they are carried out and communicated according to the plan laid out in Step 1. Throughout the project, you will ensure that each activity is on schedule and determine whether a corrective action needs to be taken if delays occur. Project Scheduling Tools. A Gantt chart is the most common tool used by project managers to visualize the timelines and dependencies in a project. You can get a quick estimate of the time required to complete every task. The chart shows all the tasks represented by bars when they're set to start and end, how long each task will last, task dependencies, and where overlaps are. Finally, we move to Rules of Time Management. Rules of Time Management. 1. Effective planning. Without an effective plan, there is no control. Likewise, without time planning, you cannot manage things properly. Prepare a to-do list. Write down the important activities to do in a single day against the time allocated to each activity. Prioritize the high-priority work. Start finishing task one by one. Please mark the ones you have finished. Do not begin fresh work unless you have finished your previous task. Make sure that you finish the tasks within the allocated time. 2. Setting goals and objectives. Set goals and objectives clearly. Make sure that goals are realistic and achievable. 3. Setting deadlines. Determine the time and days you require to complete the task. Set deadlines for yourself. Work hard to complete the task ahead of deadlines. Take ownership of work. Make use of some planner to mark the important dates against the set deadlines. 4. Delegation of responsibilities. Delegate the roles and responsibilities on the basis of skills and interests. Don't do everything on your own. Don't accept the work without understanding the problem in details. 5. Prioritizing activities. Prioritize the task based on urgency and importance. Distinguish between important and urgent tasks. First, do the task which is important. Identify which task needs to be done within a day or month, and so on. 6. Spending the right time on the right activity. Develop the habit of doing the right thing at the right time. Don't waste the entire day in something which can be completed in an hour. Work done at the wrong time is not of much use. Now we have come to the end of our lecture. Thank you for your undivided attention.